Most women try keto, lose a little weight in the first week, then completely stall, and they think they're doing something wrong. But here's the thing, they're usually doing everything right. The problem is nobody told them that keto works differently in women's bodies than it does in men's. And that one missing piece of information is what's keeping you stuck. Today, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to do keto as a woman. Not the generic bro version you see everywhere online, but an actual plan built around how your hormones, your metabolism, and your body actually work. By the end of this video, you're going to know what to eat, what to avoid, how much to eat, and why keto sometimes feels harder for women, plus what to do about it. And before you ask, yes, this works whether you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, or beyond. So stay with me. Here's the problem that most keto content completely ignores. When a man starts keto, his body tends to adapt fairly quickly. He cuts carbs, his insulin drops, his body starts burning fat, and he starts losing weight. Simple. When a woman starts keto, something more complicated happens. Her body is much more sensitive to changes in food intake. Her hormones, estrogen, progesterone, cortisol, thyroid, all react to what she eats and how much she eats. If any of those hormones feel threatened, her body will hold on to fat like its life depends on it. That's not a flaw, that's biology. Your body is designed to protect you during times when food seems scarce, but it means you need a smarter approach, not a harder one. So let's talk about what that actually looks like. First, what even is keto? Keto, short for ketogenic, is a way of eating that's very low in carbohydrates, moderate in protein, and high in fat. When you eat this way consistently, your body runs out of its usual fuel, which is glucose from carbs, and it switches to burning fat for energy instead. The fat gets broken down into things called ketones, and your body uses those as fuel. That state is called ketosis, and here's why that matters for weight loss. When you're in ketosis, your body is literally using fat as its main energy source. Your own stored body fat becomes the fuel. That's why people can lose weight on keto even without counting every single calorie. But getting into ketosis, and staying there, requires keeping your carb intake very low. For most women, that means staying under 20 to 25 grams of net carbs per day. Net carbs are total carbs minus fiber. Fiber doesn't spike your blood sugar, so you don't count it. That sounds like a lot to track at first, but once you know which foods work, it becomes second nature. The foods you're going to eat. Let's go through this practically, because knowing the science is one thing, but knowing what to actually put on your plate is what matters. Your fat sources are going to be things like avocado, avocado oil, olive oil, coconut oil, butter, ghee, full-fat cheese, cream cheese, heavy cream, and fatty fish like salmon. These are your foundation. Fat is not the enemy on keto. It's literally your fuel. Don't be scared of it. Your protein sources are going to be eggs, chicken, beef, pork, turkey, shrimp, tuna, and sardines. These keep your muscles strong and keep you full. One thing that's important for women specifically, don't go too low on protein. A lot of keto resources say to keep protein moderate, and that's true, but some women take that too far and eat almost no protein. That's a mistake. Aim for at least 0.7 to 1 gram of protein per pound of your body weight. Your carbs are going to come almost entirely from vegetables, specifically low-carb ones. Things like spinach, kale, broccoli, zucchini, cauliflower, cucumber, celery, asparagus, green beans, and bell peppers. These give you fiber, vitamins, and minerals without kicking you out of ketosis. And then there are the foods you need to cut out, at least while you're getting started. Bread, pasta, rice, oats, potatoes, most fruits, beans, legumes, most dairy products that have added sugar, sodas, juice, and anything with sugar in it. That includes honey, maple syrup, and most store-bought sauces and dressings, which are full of hidden carbs. A real meal plan. Day by day. Let me give you an actual week of eating, so this stops being abstract. Monday. Breakfast. 3 scrambled eggs cooked in butter with a handful of spinach and 2 strips of bacon. Lunch. A big salad with grilled chicken, avocado, cucumber, olive oil, and lemon dressing. Dinner. Baked salmon with roasted broccoli and a side of cauliflower mashed with butter and cream. Snack if needed. A small handful of macadamia nuts or a piece of cheese. Tuesday. Breakfast. Full-fat Greek yogurt. The plain, unsweetened kind with a few crushed walnuts. Lunch, lettuce wraps with ground beef, cheese, sour cream, and salsa. Dinner, chicken thighs cooked in olive oil with zucchini sautéed in garlic and butter. Wednesday, breakfast, 2 eggs fried in coconut oil with avocado slices and a pinch of sea salt. Lunch, tuna mixed with mayo and diced celery, served on cucumber slices. Dinner, beef stir-fry with broccoli, bell peppers, coconut aminos instead of soy sauce, and sesame oil. Thursday, breakfast, a keto smoothie, unsweetened almond milk, a scoop of collagen or unflavored protein powder, a tablespoon of almond butter, and ice. Lunch, leftover beef stir-fry. Dinner, pork chops with roasted asparagus and a side salad with olive oil. Friday, breakfast, egg muffins baked in a muffin tin with cheese, diced peppers, and sausage. Lunch, a big bowl of chicken soup with low-carb vegetables. Make it yourself so you know there's no added starch. Dinner, shrimp cooked in garlic butter over zucchini noodles. Saturday, breakfast, bacon and eggs with avocado. Lunch, a cheeseburger without the bun, wrapped in lettuce, with a side of coleslaw made with full-fat mayo. Dinner, lamb chops or steak with green beans and garlic butter. Sunday, breakfast, chia seed pudding made with coconut milk. Let it sit overnight, topped with a few blueberries. Blueberries are one of the lower-carb fruits, just don't overdo it. Lunch, smoked salmon with cream cheese and cucumber slices. Dinner, roast chicken with roasted Brussels sprouts and cauliflower rice. Now here's where women specifically need to pay attention. Your hormones are going to have something to say about all of this, and you need to know what to expect. In the first 1 to 2 weeks, many women feel what's called the keto flu. You might feel tired, get headaches, feel foggy, or feel a little irritable. This is not your body rejecting keto. This is your body flushing out water and electrolytes as your insulin levels drop. The fix is simple. Salt your food more, drink more water, and supplement with magnesium and potassium. A lot of the time, these symptoms go away within a few days once your electrolytes are balanced. Here's something else that affects women but almost never gets talked about: your cycle. In the week before your period, your progesterone rises. And when progesterone rises, your body can become more resistant to ketosis. You might find it harder to stick to your carb limit. You might crave carbs more. You might feel hungrier. This is real. It's not weakness. It's hormones. What some women find helpful is being slightly more flexible in that week, adding a little more protein, being less strict about carbs, going slightly above 25 grams, and not punishing themselves for it. Then going back to strict keto after your period starts. Your hormones will naturally drop back down, and getting back into ketosis becomes easier again. For women in perimenopause or menopause, keto can be especially helpful, but it can also require extra patience. Declining estrogen changes how and where your body stores fat. It slows your metabolism. It makes you more sensitive to stress. So if you're in this stage of life, managing stress and sleep becomes just as important as what you eat. High cortisol, your stress hormone, can completely block fat loss even when your diet is perfect. So rest is not optional. It's part of the plan. Why you might not be losing weight on keto, even when you think you're doing it right. This is the section most keto videos skip, and it's where most women give up. You're eating keto, but the scale isn't moving. Here's why that might be happening. 1. You're eating too many calories. Yes, keto manages hunger really well, but if you're eating large amounts of high-fat foods all day, calories still matter. Fat has 9 calories per gram, more than twice what carbs and protein have. You don't have to obsess over calories, but you can't ignore them completely. Pay attention to how much you're eating, not just what you're eating. 2. You're not actually in ketosis. Hidden carbs are everywhere. Sauces, dressings, protein powders, certain cheeses, even some meats that are processed, can have added sugars or starches. Read labels. Everything that goes in your mouth matters when your limit is 20 grams of carbs a day. 3. You're not sleeping enough. This one is underrated. When you don't sleep, cortisol goes up. When cortisol goes up, your body holds onto fat and craves sugar. No keto diet can fully fix the damage that poor sleep does to your hormones and metabolism. 4. You're under too much stress. Same reason as sleep. Chronic stress raises cortisol, and high cortisol means your body is in protection mode. It's not going to burn fat when it thinks there's a crisis. 5. You're not patient enough. The first week of keto, most of the weight you lose is water weight. Real fat loss is slower. It takes time. Women especially can see their weight fluctuate by 2 to 4 pounds just because of their cycle, water retention, or inflammation. Don't judge your progress day by day. Look at trends over weeks. Supplements that actually help. I don't want you spending a fortune on supplements, but there are a few that genuinely make keto easier. Magnesium glycinate helps with sleep, muscle cramps, and mood. Most people are already low in magnesium, and keto makes you lose more of it. Electrolyte powder. Look for one without sugar. This helps with the keto flu and keeps your energy up. Vitamin D, especially important for women, especially if you don't get much sun. Low vitamin D is linked to fatigue and slow metabolism. Collagen or protein powder, useful if you're finding it hard to hit your protein goals through food alone. That's it. You don't need keto pills, fat burners, or any of the expensive supplements you see advertised online. The basics are enough. What real progress looks like. Week 1. You lose water weight, possibly 3 to 7 pounds. You might feel tired or foggy. Week 2. Energy starts to come back. Cravings start to reduce. The scale might slow down or pause. Week 3 and 4. You start to see real fat loss. Your clothes might start to feel different before the number on the scale shows big changes. Months 2 and 3. This is where the real transformation happens if you stay consistent. Your hunger is lower. Your energy is more stable. Your cravings for sugar are much weaker. Most women who quit keto quit in week 2 or 3, right before it starts to really work. Don't be that person. To wrap this up, keto works for women, but it works better when you understand your body, respect your hormones, and don't try to copy a plan made for someone with a completely different biology. Eat real food. Keep your carbs low. Prioritize protein. Sleep. Manage stress. Be patient. And adjust around your cycle instead of fighting it. You now have a full week of meals. You know what to eat and what to avoid. You know why women struggle with keto and how to fix it. And you know what to expect week by week. If this video helped you, watch this next.